Do you really know the man behind the cowboy hat? The one whose voice defined country music for generations, but whose heart has carried a wound too deep for words. At 73, the tragedy of George Strait is beyond heartbreaking. Because behind the fame, the fortune, and the timeless smile, lies a story of loss, silence, and unshakable pain that not even time could heal. George Strait, the king of country, a man who built an empire from simple songs about love, life, and heartbreak. But few people know that behind every lyric, there's a shadow, a memory that haunts him to this very day. He wasn't born into fame. George Harvey Strait came from a small Texas town, raised with strong values, simple dreams, and a quiet heart. He wasn't loud or flashy. He was just a boy who loved music and horses. No one back then could have imagined that this humble kid would one day become a legend. He married his high school sweetheart, Norma, a woman who stood by him through every storm. Together they built a love story that felt like one of his songs, pure, gentle, everlasting. But what neither of them knew was that their greatest joy would one day become their deepest sorrow. As George rose to fame in the early 1980s, the world fell in love with him. His voice, smooth, honest, unmistakably Texan, made country music feel like home again. Hits like Amarillo by Morning and Check Yes or No became anthems. But behind that success, fate was writing a far darker story. In 1986, George Strait's world shattered. His 13-year-old daughter, Jennifer, was killed in a tragic car accident. It was the kind of moment that divides a life in two, before and after. For George, nothing was ever the same. He once said, "I don't think I'll ever get over it." And he never did. That night broke something inside him that the world never got to see. From that day on, George changed. He withdrew from interviews, stopped talking to the press, and built walls of silence around his pain. The man the world saw on stage, confident, smiling, charming, was a reflection. The real George was grieving. Those close to him say he carried that pain quietly, never letting it show. But if you listen to his music after 1986, you can feel it. Songs like Baby Blue, they weren't just hits. They were cries from a father to his lost daughter. Every word, every note, every pause, filled with love and sorrow. As the years went by, George kept performing. He poured his pain into art, transforming grief into something beautiful. Fans saw a superstar, but they didn't realize they were listening to a man trying to keep his daughter's memory alive. Then, in 2009, tragedy struck again when his father, John Strait, passed away. George had already carried so much loss, and now another piece of his heart was gone. Yet, through it all, he never lost his faith, his humility, or his devotion to his family. His wife Norma and his son Bubba became his anchor, the only things that kept him grounded when life felt too heavy to bear. Today, at 73, George Strait is still performing, still standing tall, but behind that calm smile, the sorrow never truly faded. Every time he steps on stage, every time he sings a love song, he's remembering what was taken from him. Fans say they can see it in his eyes, a glimmer of sadness that never leaves. And yet, his story isn't just one of tragedy. It's one of quiet strength. Because even after losing everything that mattered most, he never gave up. He didn't let grief destroy him. He turned it into music that has healed millions. His songs became a refuge not just for fans, but for himself. Listen closely when he sings "I Saw God Today" or "You'll Be There." You can almost hear him reaching out beyond this world, to his daughter, to his father, to the memories that will never fade. George Strait's life teaches us something powerful, that even legends can break, but they can still rise again. He's a reminder that behind every perfect voice, there's a human heart, one that bleeds, one that loves, and one that remembers. So the next time you hear his voice echo through a stadium, remember this: you're not just listening to a singer. You're hearing a father's eternal love, a son's devotion, and a man's lifelong conversation with loss. And maybe, somewhere beyond the stars, his little girl is still listening, smiling as her father sings one more song for her. At 73, The tragedy of George Strait is beyond heartbreaking, but his courage, his faith, and his love make him more than a legend. They make him human.